Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We're on the BCP podcast. Everybody, you already know Flex, Matt Cooper, and then Derek with quick cuts, Derek Williams. Here we go, fellas. Let's jump right into it. I guess the game of the week, a game that we were very much anticipating, Sumner versus Durant. That final score ended up with Durant prevailing by one, with a fantastic game and knocks off Sumner from the undefeated ranks. Matt, you were on the sideline at least for the first half. Give us your
Yeah,
observations.
man. I got there Friday. The weather looked kind of shaky. No lightning, but they let the game go on. I was on the 50-yard line, kind of checking out both sides. Durant looked really good practicing. They both teams are just going through their formations, and they both look really good at at the pregame. Um, I did run into Greg, and he said that he's like, Flex, I'm not gonna be able to play today. My ankle is a little sore. So, fortunately, Greg had to sit out of this game. Which, a fun fact, he didn't play last year when they played Durant as well. And I just found out Sumner actually has never beaten Durant. So, this could have been a great opportunity for Sumner. The game started. Number four on Sumner, Devin, man, he is just a beast mode. He got two touchdowns in this first half. And they really dominated the first half. And I really didn't think Durant was going to come back and beat him, to be honest with you, the way the game was looking. The weather started raining. I kind of jumped onto the Durant side. Durant scored a touchdown. There was a big penalty from Sumner, and it gave Durant some really good field position. They capitalized. They scored. They did miss the extra point, so um, halftime, it was just started pouring down rain, and they called it half. Then the lightning came, and they actually postponed the game to the next morning. So I didn't get to see the next morning. Derek did give highlights, so I'd like to definitely check that out. Derek, if you could jump on and show us some of them highlights.
Pretty much what you said. Sumner really did have a pretty good handle on the first half, and number four, running back for Sumner's had a great year. I know we've talked about Sumner a lot. Yep. I mean, he's been consistent all year. I love his style of running. We're going to feature him this week. But what happened? Yeah, Matt mentioned a penalty. They had, I think it was a fourth down and long, Durant, and they were down, I think 14-0 at the time, and Durant went for it on fourth and long. They were at like the 35, 40-yard line. Again, you're too close to punt, too far away for a field goal. Durant goes for it, and there was a penalty on the play. I didn't quite see it on the game film breakdown, but they got a penalty right there. Ended up scoring, and this drive took some time off the clock. Sumner got the ball on the ensuing kickoff late in the second quarter, and just they started moving down the field again. Run. Got down the field. Time ran out, and then the rains came. And then next thing you know, I'm breaking down game film, and I didn't even know that they got rained out. And all of a sudden, the jerseys flip. The night becomes the day. Both teams' jerseys change, and I'm like, "Wait, what's going on? Did I get last year's film spliced into this?" So I actually called Matt and I said, "Hey, were you at the game?" And he goes, "Yeah, it got rained out." And I'm like, "That's it," because I don't pay attention to that stuff. I wake up, I break down game film. So anyway, so I started looking at the second half, and Sumner came out and they start moving the ball, opening drive of the second half, and got a penalty. Had to punt, and it brought them back, and they were going down into the red zone. Got a penalty, ended up having to punt. So now Durant, gets the ball, starts driving down, and then there was an interception. Preston, the play that I had sent over to you, number 15 field off. I mean, what a great athletic play by Sumner right there. But anyway, the second half, um, I think Sumner had some inopportune, penalties. But I tell you, Durant and Preston, you and I mentioned this last week. Durant was going to be ready for this game, no doubt about it. And like you just mentioned, Matt, they Sumner's never beat them, and I don't care what team it is. When there's so many quality teams in this county that every single week is a challenge, and I knew going in, it's like, man, this is going to be a heck of a game, and it really turned out. And Durant, just they do so many good things. The quarterback, Michael Ryan, is such a very good high school quarterback, and he is such a smart player. He's patient in the pocket. He stands there. and he's got guys coming at him, and he's patient, and then throws the ball, gets hammered, and just really a very, very good high school quarterback. He's a good one to watch, and I tell you, they've got a really nice blend of wide receivers over there. They got number 5, big heavy kid, 200-pounder, having a really good year, and then they've got number 6, 8, and 10. And they're a little bit slighter frame, but they can move. Number 6, I just made unbelievable plays all year. Number 8 made the great catch at the end of the game. If you haven't seen this, he goes up and it was really kind of the play of the game. And then at the end of the game, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but they were Durant went for 2 to win the game, and they had a great play pulled up. And number 6 came in motion and got the handoff and then made the throw. It was a great game, good battle, just plenty of things going on. And Durant's defense, I tell you what, Preston, we're going to talk about him a little bit later on. They've got a cornerback over there, number 21. He's a high-level kid. He's got long arms. He's a long kid, 6'1". He just does so many good things in coverage. They've got an outside backer, number 10 over there. Just does some really good things. Durant's a good program. There's no doubt about it. And but yeah, that was a heck of a game. And over the course of 2 days, but it was a great game, no doubt.
So a few notes. So running back Devin Spencer, 12 carries, 175 yards, 3 rushing TDs, and not to be outshined, Emmanuel Lee of Durant, 22 carries, 148 yards, and a TD. And you mentioned Mike, right? Number 27, right? And then Michael Ryan, Durant quarterback, 10 of 22 with 80.3 QBR, played well. Just a few notes. And then interestingly enough, I think there's something with the chemistry with Greg Smith and Tyler Williams that is just so freaking fantastic, because that's Greg's guy. Now, Greg doesn't play this game. And just looking at the numbers, Tyler Williams, fantastic, one of the top receivers in the state, in my opinion, only 2 receptions for 11 yards. So the game plan, obviously, because Greg was out, was going to be to lean heavy on Devin Spencer, the running back. But also Tyler Williams, one of the biggest playmakers in the county, doesn't get a lot of, he didn't get a lot of receptions. Now, I don't know if he was targeted a lot, but you can tell that without Greg, they leaned on Devin. But they lose the game, and one of their best players, Tyler Williams, doesn't touch the ball but 2 times. So there's that chemistry with his top wide receiver, the top quarterback. And I think it's extremely special. That is a credit to both of them, but you can definitely tell that could have been a big reason why that that Sumner couldn't get over the hump versus Durant. Now, here's a crazy question. I'm going to ask both of you, toss this out to you. That rain delay or that rain postponement doesn't happen. Is the result still the same? Does Durant pull it out?
Probably, Preston. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
I don't think it made that big of a difference. I think if they would have went back, I think it would have came down to the end. I did get to see that last play Derek sent me, where they made, they went for the 2 points, and it was just such a creative play for them to really execute that and make that happen. They probably would have done the same thing on Friday night. And I think you're right. When you look at the targets to Tyler, he is probably one of the best kids on the team. To not utilize him, I think it might have hurt them in the long run. And seeing what happened on Saturday morning, Durant probably would have got him on Friday too.
Yeah, Preston, and I think they certainly missed Greg, no doubt. But I tell you what, they didn't miss a beat. They number 4 had a great game running the ball, and they just shifted from a pass heavy offense to a run heavy. And number 4 cut loose in this game. Now, they certainly missed him on defense, and when you've got his ability back there in the secondary, it certainly can make a big play. But I'm glad you mentioned the running back. Number 27 had a great game. I mean, he was running through tackles. He what year is he, Preston? He's
Emmanuel is a junior.
Yeah, he had a great game. I'm going to keep an eye on this kid. He's been running well all year, but he was he was like a man possessed in that game. He was running through tackles. So yeah, I'm not sure necessarily if the change of day hurt or helped. It was just one of those games. I mean, Sumner had control. They had some inopportune penalties here and there, and it made
When
an impact on the game. Yeah, he had a great game. I'm going to keep an eye on this kid. He's been running well all year, but he was he was like a man possessed in that game. He was running through tackles. So yeah, I'm not sure necessarily if the change of day hurt or helped. It was just one of those games. I mean, Sumner had control. They had some inopportune penalties here and there, and it made an impact on the game.
So here you go. When you're able to X and O teams, right? So the first half ended before halftime, correct, Matt? The game was postponed
Um,
before halftime, correct?
it actually made it all the way to the halftime.
It made it all the
We
way to
thought
the
it was
half. So now,
yeah, yep.
so here you go. Here goes another question for you. You get all the way to the half. Traditionally, in a halftime, you get about 12 minutes, right? So you got 12 minutes to make adjustments. Well, now you've got all night to make adjustments as a coaching staff. Okay. And it very much seems like, hey, Durant took that advantage all night and made those adjustments. They knew that Sumner was going to rely heavy on Devin Spencer on the legs. They knew that the backup quarterback wasn't necessarily targeting Tyler Williams. So what would you do if you're a Durant coaching staff? I'd lean heavy on trying to stop the run versus Devin Spencer if I can slow him down, knowing that right now Tyler Williams is not a factor. Would you agree or not agree?
I agree.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
I think the game it would have been a different game with those guys there. How close it was if Greg was playing, I think that it would have been a different. I think Sumner would have won.
It is prospect watch time, and we are looking for a sleeper prospect, Derek. The ball's in your court. Who you got?
Well, I mean, I did the deep dive into Durant, obviously from the Sumner game, and went back. I broke down their entire season film. This cornerback, Quinton Pope at Durant, is the deal. I mean, he's a high level kid. I don't think he has much going on right now. But again, you and I have talked about this. When a kid gets it done at the cornerback spot, what happened? No one throws on him. And I'm telling you, this kid gets involved in the run support game. He gets down on kick coverage. He lined up sparingly at wide receiver against Sumner. I tell you, I think this kid's a pretty high level D1 kid. We're going to take a look at him right now. And I mean, you tell me. I mean, you played the position. I love this kid on film, and he's twitchy too. He can pick up his feet and put them down. And a lot of kids that are long, 6'1", 6'2", can't do that. And this kid can't. And he's got those extra long arms. He's got a 6'3" wingspan, it looks like on film. Here
He's
he is right
smooth.
here.
He's really smooth, and it's like flipping your hips as a corner is the number one thing that you look at, and we call it transition. And how do you transition from going backwards to forward at full speed? And his ability to transition and then play laterally, and is playing with your eyes. And the eye discipline is where a lot of kids get in trouble, and knowing where your eyes should be depending on the coverage that's called or the technique that you're playing. And you sent me this film on the weekend, like, yo, watch this guy. And he's legit. And Durant's had legit players since they've been open. Like, they always have one or two kids all the time that are hidden gems. And this kid, Quinton Pope, could be another one.
Yep. No, I think college coaches need to get over to Durant in a hurry and get a look at this kid. This is the kind of kid late in the game USF could jump in on and get involved with. But if I'm an out of state kind of power five, or a group of five program right now, I'm looking at this kid. I think he's that good. And but yeah, he's had a great season so far. He doesn't get challenged a lot. But like right there, just on this play right there, and he gets active in run support. He uses his eyes very well when he has to transition from coverage to run support. He's aware. He transitioned very smooth. I like this kid a lot. But yeah, he's our sleeper for the week. Quinton Pope, 6'1" cornerback out of Durant High School.
2024. All right, Quinton Pope, keep doing your thing, baby.
Quinton Pope. Yeah, no, he's awesome, man. Keep doing your thing, Quinton.
All right, I am here with Plant City defensive back Chase Dexter. Chase, good evening to you.
Good evening to you too, Coach.
I did not know you played basketball at Plant City. When did you play basketball at Plant City?
Past 2 years.
Okay. Well, a big district win for you guys over Alonzo, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
New coach comes in, Coach Hicks, right? All
yes,
right.
Sir.
Tell me what the offseason was like with the new coaching staff. What did he implement to let you know that you guys are going to have this level of success right now?
First thing he did when they gave him the head coaching job was called a meeting and told us right after spring, kind of right before spring, one of the 2 times, he told us just get behind him. It's gonna be hard if we don't quit, and he believed that we had the talent to do what we're doing now and dominate teams, supposed to dominate, and just be a good team all around. And all summer long, everybody put their head down, worked. A lot of people got better. People transferred in, and as you can see now, nobody thought we'd be 4-2 right now.
What's the biggest difference from last year to this year?
Leadership on both sides of the ball, and a lot of people listening to coaches now and being more than just themselves. And we playing as a team, and when we do come together, it looks good.
4-2. You guys could have beaten Hillsboro. Saw that game. That was a close one, right? Then you
Yes,
guys had a big win against an undefeated Alonzo. You beat your rival over at Durant, correct?
Yes, sir.
What's the mojo right now? How's the confidence level in the locker room?
Everybody heads high. We now see that like Hillsboro game lasts about 2-3 minutes. We end up putting up 21 points, and when we do come together and gel together, I don't think nobody can really beat us. I don't see it, and because our coaches believe in us, no matter what happens, and all of our coaches got our back. We got each other's back, and when that does happen, we gel together well. And we know now after beating Alonzo, I don't think nobody has a low confidence. We all got our heads high, ready just to playing on onward next 2 big games.
Now, you yourself personally have been rising on the recruiting scene, and it kind of took off a little bit for you before this season, like I guess the spring and this summer. Tell me how the rise of your recruitment started. When was your first offer, and then how did everything else start coming in?
First offer came around towards like the middle of spring. Colgate coach came in. First time talking to him, and he ended up offering me. And then Morgan State, Bucknell, a few other schools came in during spring. And then around June, I was told by a lot of coaches to come to the Mercer camp. So I went to that Mercer camp on the 3rd. I got Arkansas State that day. Georgia State the next day. Got Dartmouth that day. And then around July, I got Army first. And then Air Force and Navy came with that. And as of right now, school, I got NDSU, Middle Tennessee, and Memphis all kind of on the cusp, but like offering their last DBs and whatnot. So seeing how that plays out.
What do they like about you?
A lot of NDSU, they like a lot of them like that I'm versatile. I can play safety and corner. My grades are good, and physical at the line, long, but just happy to have all these offers and whatnot.
Absolutely, as you should. A good defensive line. You guys have a solid defense. How does your defensive line complement your secondary?
Our front 4, Davin, Donnie, Tamaris, and Kobe, when they all hit on all cylinders and they get in the backfield, it all whole defense in all cylinders. And them 4 making plays, and they make plays in the run, the pass. It's a luxury because we could just send 4, and we're in a 4-2-5, send 4, and sit everybody back in coverage, and they're gonna go make plays like we send 6. So we got a good luxury having them 4 up front, and I don't think a no line can really block them. I mean, I ain't seen it yet, so.
You got Plant, and then Armwood back-to-back. What are you looking forward to in both of those games?
Plant game, because last year we were kind of a shaky year, but we felt like we could beat Plant. Winning there wasn't a good game. So this year, I really want to bounce back and win the district because we win this game. After that we got to beat Crest, but win this game, we should make the playoffs. So Plant's gonna be a week just to get the same amount from last year and to win district. New head coach, and I think Coach Chase got us on the right path to win district. And Armwood game, of course, a big powerhouse school, probably one of the best teams in the county, and a lot of people overlook us and don't think a team like that we can play with them. And we all in our locker room, like you said, heads been high, believe that when we all play together, can't no team stop us regardless of what the name is or who they got on the other side.
What's your personal motivation?
My mom probably. She's a single mother. Did a lot for me, kept me in all three sports, kept me out of trouble, kept my head focused. And regardless of what happened once, I know I could put a smile on her face and she can tell me that she's proud of me, regardless if it's going to NFL or just being successful after college or whatnot. I know I've done something right.
Give me a goal of yours. At the end of the day, no matter how far y'all progress in the playoffs, if you don't make the playoffs, but I think you will, what personal goals do you want to have at the end of the season?
I want to finish the season with 5+ picks as my goal. Right now I got 2, so let's see how that goes.
All right, what are your last words, man? Shout your teammates out, shout your coaches out, and your fans.
Shoot, I just think defense side of the ball, I love us all around, and our offense, Chris Denson, and our receivers, running backs. I like our whole team all around. O-line been looking good. Zaki Joyce, all around. I don't think no team can match up with us when we play together. Skill wise, I don't see a team matching up with us. Great coaches, everything.
The week that was, we had a good number of undefeated teams, and we're at that time of the year where some of those are going to get dropped. And that is what happened last week, where Carewood Day, with a slim loss to CCC, Plant City, who is resurging in a mean way, upsets, if you will, we're going to say defeats Alonzo. Okay. And then Durant takes down mighty Sumner. Now, the question to you, and I'll start with you, Matt. With these 3 undefeated teams, can all 3 still make the playoffs, in your opinion, with their upcoming schedules?
After kind of like looking at their schedules, they actually they have a pretty tough schedule. So for the 4M District 8, so Sumner, right? Like their district has Riverview, which is 5-0 still. They have Durant, which just beat them, and then Sumner and Newsom. So right now they're kind of sitting in that 3rd spot, so they're going to need to win the rest of the season out, unless Riverview and Durant take some losses. Same thing with Alonzo. They have a tough little schedule too. They have Plant and Plant City. Both of them are sitting at 4-2. Alonzo's 5-1. So currently Alonzo is still running their district. They continue winning the season out, they can definitely make it. CDS, CCC is always seems like a challenge for them. I went last year and they got beat pretty bad last year. So for that to be a close game this year, CDS is looking really good this year. They basically, I think they'll make it through the districts as well. They're going to have Sefner Christian and Cambridge Christian. So I'm thinking, I think all 3 of them can possibly make it to the playoffs, but they're going to need a win.
So going back to that Riverview Newsom district with Sumner, the good thing is right now there's only one guarantee to make the playoffs. You have to win your district, right? And then everything else takes care of itself. If you don't win your district, then you're kind of relying on the rankings to rank you to see where your point schedule, for lack of a better term, where you're going to fit within that top 8 in the region. Okay, so the good thing is we just started district play. Newsom will play Riverview this week. That game could go either way. It's hard to prepare for a triple option offense, which Newsom runs. So Riverview's going to have to prepare for that. That could be a very interesting game. And then 2 weeks out, Sumner has to play Riverview also. Okay, Riverview, if they win that Newsom game, then they're going to be on cloud 9 going into that Sumner game, which they're at Sumner, right? So you still have this whole kind of shakeup that could happen, and everybody could take a loss, right? Because Durant still has to play those remaining 3 teams also on their schedule, and one could get knocked off. You can really possibly come down with 3 teams with 1 loss in the district. Then the head-to-heads are going to go to get the district tiebreaker, right? So right now, all 3 could still make the playoffs, foreseeing that we have something crazy happen in that district. Now, if we look at the CDS district, which looks a little more clear, the problem is with Sumner and Cambridge ahead for Clearwater Central Catholic, we really expect CCC to wrap up that 1M District 3. I don't see Sumner beating CCC or Cambridge beating CCC. Cambridge sitting at 3-3, Sumner at 2-3. Carrollwood Day was the biggest challenge for them at 3-1, and they just knocked off Carrollwood Day. So, yes, Carrollwood Day could possibly make the playoffs, but the guarantee winning the district, I don't see that. I think CCC is going to wrap up that district. So, and then we got Alonzo. That could get interesting also. Plant City is the hottest team in that district right now. They're 4-2. I saw them being very good when they hired Coach Hicks. 4-2 is not surprising for me. They still have Strawberry Crest. I think they beat Strawberry Crest, but Plant is going to be interesting. He's sitting at 4-2 also. Nobody really gives Plant's staff as much credit as they deserve. They are always well prepared. They always win games they should not win because they are always well coached. That Plant City matchup is going to be a doozy. So I really like that Plant City, Alonzo, all 3 of those teams. I could really see a 3-1 shakeup. Right now, with how hot Plant City is right now, Plant City is favored in that district. No guarantee to win that district. This is going to be fun, my man.
Where is that game held at? Is that
which one?
The Plant City game?
Now that I see why you asked that question. That is always good because a lot of special things end up happening if it's played at Plant. So let me look at that schedule. Plant City is going to be played at. This is Plant City is. No, it's going to be at Plant City. Plant is away at Plant City on the 13th of October.
Nice.
Yeah. So a lot of things could shake up in that district. All right, we're headed to the film room. And the first guy we're putting on the screen is going to be Sickles Isaiah Hudson, who's been killing for like the last 2 seasons. Derek, take that, man.
Yeah, I mean, he really has. I mean, he even last year and then this year, he is so extremely productive on both sides of the ball. And he's versatile. He can play a number of different positions on defense. We're going to go ahead and pop his film on right now. But just having a great year. Obviously, the quarterback's putting up big numbers, and this is one of the go-tos right here. Just very, very productive. Every single game, showing up. Defense, plays corner, can play back at safety. You can almost drop him down as a linebacker. But this kid just had a great year so far, and so he is one of our player upgrades. Definitely should be on the radars of some college coaches out there that come down to Tampa looking for these type of kids right here. So Isaiah Hudson, athlete out of Sickles High School, is one of our feature guys this week.
And I think he doesn't get as much recognition as he deserved because Sickles hasn't been as successful as they have been in the past on the field. But just to toss it out there, last year he had nearly 1,200 receiving yards at 11-17, right? This year, midway through the season, he's already at 512. 34 receptions, 512 receiving yards, 7 TDs. Last year, 2022 season, he was 70 receptions, 1,117 yards, and 8 TDs. So he is super consistent, man. He is a fantastic player. And I just wish he got more recognition, but it is what it is. College coaches, take a look over there at Sickles at Isaiah Hudson.
Absolutely. And our number 2 guy, Preston, you and I had talked about him even before this week's explosion onto the scene. But go ahead and introduce our next up.
So Chris Denson at Plant City, he's a 2025 6'2", 185-pound quarterback. I'm going to make a really bold comparison, but I think it's fair. He's a lefty, and he reminds me so much of Michael Penix at Washington, who's going to be up to win the Heisman. They're roughly around the same size, 6'2", 6'3" ish. A smooth left-handed thrower, not as strong as Penix was when he was in high school, but their movement, their calmness, their coolness, a very, very good comparison, in my opinion, to Michael Penix, who came from Pasco County and then finished his career last 2 seasons at Tampa Bay Tech.
Absolutely. And, he is you talk about kids a lot of times being a fast twitch, a lot of times referencing defensive linemen, how they come off the ball. But this kid's got a lot of fast twitch to him, not only in his lower body, but his upper body as well. He can get into a throwing position very quickly. You can see what he's doing right there. Went 70, 80 yards against Hillsboro. Just extremely quick, very fast, very quick, but always looking to throw downfield. And he, obviously hit the scene in a big way this past Friday. But like I say, you and I talked about him previously, and this kid's a major upgrade. He's gonna be a multiple offer FBS kid, and they're not here yet, but they are gonna be here. So I would urge everybody to take a look at the quick cut full season that we've got on Chris, and see what this kid's all about, because he's going to have a fabulous finish to the season this year, and I can't wait to see what this kid follows up with next year. But he will be a multiple FBS offer kid, no doubt, coming very
So
soon.
he popped his first offer from Toledo, and the problem with Toledo being the first offer is that Toledo is very good with who they offer and how they pan out. So college is going to be paying attention to that Toledo offer, and he's going to get a lot of that are going to come his way, because Toledo does very well when they offer a kid and when they produce. So that is a good sign. Currently, just to throw a few numbers out, because I'm just so in love with this kid, he's 10th in the state in total yards with 1,642 total yards, and then he is he's 31 in the state, number 31 in the state in passing yards with 1,182 yards. So I'm just a big fan of Chris Denson. I love what Terrence Hicks is doing with him offensively over at Plant City, and good luck to the Raiders this week.
No doubt. Who do they have this week?
I think they're Strawberry Crest and then they're Plant, but let me double check since we got it.
Yeah, that would make sense, because if you mentioned 13th, Plant
They're playing
City.
Plant this week, actually, it looks like.
Are they
They're playing
at Plant
this week. Oh, October 13th. So they got a bye
Yes.
week this week.
They all right.
Bye week.
There you go.
And then they got to come back and play Armwood.
I tell you what, that bye week heading into a Plant showdown, that's interesting too. You got to take that into account. That's
crucial.
Yep,
absolutely.
Preston, I'm glad you mentioned Michael Penix too. Just having an unbelievable year at Washington. He didn't have any touchdowns this past week, but I think he's throwing between 70 and 80% completions this year. Had another 400-yard game, and broke down his first highlight film at Pasco High School many years back. And I'm hoping for the trifecta. I put Derrick Henry's first ever highlight together for him as a freshman at Yulee High School. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, I put his spring film together. So his first highlights. This is way back before Huddle and almost even YouTube at times. But I'm hoping to hit the trifecta on that one. I would love to have three guys having Heisman trophies. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Michael Penix, man. He's having a heck of a year. Hopefully he can close it out.
Yes, sir. BCP camper right there. Tampa Bay Tech product. Michael Penix and a Dade City product.
Yep.
All right. The fun thing about sports is you got to rank people. You got to rank teams. You got to rank players. It's the fun part. It's what gets the people going. All right. We are at week 5, week 6, depending on where you're at on your schedule. And we're going to go with 3 most impressive players to this point in this season. Okay, Matt, that is your assignment. You're up first. Who you got?
Man, who I'm most impressed with right now is Tech Santonio Isaac. Man, that kid has been balling. I know I didn't get to see him play much last year. I'm not sure how much playing time he got, but man, this year he has came out and exploded. So definitely wanted to give him a shout out. Another great one of my favorites is Rod over there at Tech. So I'd put him at number 2, and then Gerard Pringle over at Armwood. Those are my top 3 guys right now that I love watching those guys play. They always making it happen.
Santonio Isaac has been a varsity starter since his freshman year. He's a junior now. Came on the scene in a big way. Very smooth runner. He's just fun to watch. You know, Rod is doing Rod type things. He's freaking bonkers. And the thing about Rod Gainey at Tech is that, like, I'm looking at his future. He's currently a Charlotte commit. And Rod Gainey, I'm just thinking, like, if they use him in the right way, the college system, if they kind of put him as an offensive weapon and not necessarily as a running back, move him around in the slot, give him the ball in jet sweeps, have him in the backfield at time, he's got really good hands. Like, just like title him as an offensive weapon. His college career, he'd have numbers that would just splatter the stat sheet, right? They'd just be all over the places. He would be like how McCaffrey was at Stanford, where he just did some of everything. I can see Rod Gainey doing just a little bit of everything at the college ranks. And then who was the last one that you mentioned?
Gerard Pringle.
All right, well, enough said by that kid. Like, he's like maybe whatever you want to rate running backs in Central Florida, he's up there top 3, regardless. And he's the motor that makes Armwood go. All right, so I guess I'm up. I'm gonna go off the top with Chris Denson. Like, I was very impressed. I've seen the kid all summer long. I thought he would be good. Didn't know he would be great. Right now, he's teetering on that great type of season. The Plant City quarterback, we talked about him early in the podcast, but Chris Denson over at Plant City has my attention, and I'm just wishing that he just blows his year all the way open. Corey Sims, another BCP camper. We got a theme here. Another BCP camper, running back over at Mitchell High School. Now, he came on when he came to camp. He had the frame as a freshman, and the way he moved and the way he camped and the seriousness about him, you kind of like the first thing I said, like, this kid might be something, and now he is a lot of something. Right now, just looking at the numbers, he has 17 total TDs, which is top 5 for Central Florida School, our coverage area. He is top 5 in scoring and TDs this season with 17, 15 rushing, 2 receiving. So Corey Sims at Mitchell High School is number 2 on my list. And then number 3 is Willie Suarez at Jesuit. I don't know if there's a better Swiss Army knife right now. And if you got one, you're going to have to show me, because Willie Suarez has played just about every position. He scored just about every way possible for Jesuit. And he is that guy that kind of puts the gas on the fire for the Tigers. If you need a play made, he's going to make it. It doesn't matter where you put him at. He has that freaking attitude. If you watched our podcast a week ago, you could tell there is a seriousness about him that all he really wants to do is win ball games. And he has that give me the rock mentality. I'm going to get it done. And I'm so attracted to that type of mentality.
When I used to see Suarez over at Team Tampa 77 last summer and the summer before, man, that kid, they threw him the ball a lot. I mean, he always made a play. And, you always wonder how people are going to kind of translate into the tackle with pads. And he did not miss a beat. And I am super impressed with him as well. Chris Denson, your first pick, same thing with him. I saw him in the spring. He was really good. I was expecting him just to come out and really get everybody's attention. And he's done the same thing. He's really balled out. As far as the running back, I haven't got to check him out. I'm going to definitely go look at his film. But all those touchdowns this season, that's pretty solid, man. He sounds like one of the best out here. So I'm going to go check him out as well.
Yeah, we need some game film on them to I'd love to get that kid featured. So, yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
6 good kids. We gave you 2 rankings. I gave you my top 3. Matt hit you with his. We hopefully have a new ranking next week. We'll see how it pans out. All right. This turned out to be a really good segment for us last week, because we're just going to keep the party going. Cheat code players, guys, it's just hard to stop them. I don't care what you do to them. They're going to be making an impact. Derek has found one again. Who is he, Derek?
Well, we have a true big timer out of Vero Beach. I actually put this kid's highlight, some film together of him in youth, believe it or not. But you got an offensive tackle here, 2026 offensive tackle, 6'6" and doing things that just you don't see out of senior 18-year-old kids. This kid's a young kid, 2026 offensive tackle out of Vero Beach, and I mean this kid. Rarely can you say the sky's a limit, and it really mean the sky's a limit. This kid has that kind of ability here, and we could be looking at a kid. And you and I have hit a lot of big young kids in the past, Preston, before anyone knew about them.
Yep.
And this kid, obviously, social media has changed a lot of that. Obviously, when one school offers, like you were talking about with Toledo early,
Yep.
back before Twitter and back before Huddle and even back before YouTube, these big timers like this would go unknown and unfound. And then, you get, I would be working with some schools, and all of a sudden a school would make a play on a kid. And, a kid like this would go, 3 or 4 months with only having an Alabama offer, let's say. And then, so now the game's a little bit different. As soon as a kid gets offered, everybody comes in on him. But this kid has blown up, obviously. But he is a young, big, 2026 sophomore offensive tackle out of Vero, and he will be a top national recruit. I mean, just look at how he pass sets, that wide base. Man, he's athletic. He just does everything you're looking for a senior lineman. And this kid's doing it as a sophomore. He is just going to be one of the great talents in the country coming up here. And he's my cheat code right now. Micah Champion out of Vero Beach. You tell me.
6'6", 300 pounds. Look at him move, man. As a sophomore, this guy, he's got a great future ahead of him.
Love his footwork, love his feet, love his bend. Like that word when you talk lineman is always their bend. So he's not a waist bender. He has his knees are actually bent. So he has great bend, great flexibility, moves on his toes. His pass set is super quick, and he's 6'6" and moves kind of like a tight end. Cheat code, we put the stamp on him. Righty, it is mailbag time, and this is the most popular point of the show because kids always want to say something, or they want to ask something, they want to question, or they want to hear themselves talk. One or the other is still a great segment for us, so we're jumping right into the mailbag. Question that came through is Sumner is not question, excuse me. Statement that came through: Sumner better than Tampa Tech and Armwood. Matt, you agree and disagree, and tell why.
Well, Sumner better than to me, Tech and Armwood are the top teams of the county. Now, with Sumner fully put together, I do think that they could give Tech and Armwood a challenge. However, I do think that the experience with Tech and Armwood, they're going to win. I don't think Sumner can beat both of those teams.
I think a full strength Sumner team challenges both of them, right? I think Greg is special. I think Greg puts pressure on a highly talented Tech defense. But I think Tech's offensive weapons, they put pressure on anybody's defense. Who's going to make the most plays is what it's going to come down to. Armwood, skill guys. I know we've talked a lot about Armwood's offensive line, but their skill guys are as good as any also. Mekhi Anderson, we've spoken over and over again. Pringle is that type of dude. I think their skill guys are as good as their linemen. So right now, here's the problem, is that we will never know because they're not on schedule. So we needed somebody to make that happen where Tech's playing Armwood and Sumner's playing Armwood and Tech. Sumner's getting a lot of run right now because they're hot. But Sumner just got knocked off by Durant, right? But the caveat is no Greg. So that makes a big difference because his value for that team is crazy high, and he's like one of the best players in the county. You miss one of the best players, that's going to make a big difference. Today, I would say no. Sumner does not fall ahead of Tech and Armwood today.
Like you said, it would probably be a good fun game to watch with the Greg. Without Greg in there, it would probably be just a blowout. But it would be a good game. But I do think the experience, the coaching, and the players with Tech and Armwood would prevail, and they would beat Sumner. So at this time, like you said, Tech and Armwood. is a better team than Sumner.
Second mailbag. Can Manatee beat Venice? Well, they are going to chop away at each other this week. And that's going to be a game for the ages, okay? Because Venice is now starting to find their groove after they start off a little shaky versus some really good teams this year. Even we spoke about Arnwood, right? They got knocked out by Arnwood in their own house. Manatee's undefeated. They're still rolling. It's hurricane season, baby, down in Bradenton. So something has to give. Can Manatee beat Venice? Yes. Yes, the answer straight up. Yes, Manatee can beat Venice. Will it happen? We can't wait for Friday night to find out. Can Venice beat Manatee? Yes, Venice could beat Manatee. This game could go either way. But the question was, can Manatee beat Venice? There's no question. Manatee comes with their A game. They can beat Venice. Will it happen? Yet to be seen. All right, mailbag question number 3. A good one. How do I get my film? How can I be featured on the BCP podcast? Derek, this one's at you.
Well, it's pretty simple. Coaches submit their game film, and we break it down. It's that easy. There's not only is it not only does it get you potentially on the podcast, but we push the video across all of our social media platforms, our Sunshine Preps platform, our Big County Prep platform, and repost it on Quick Cut platform. So we're pushing a lot of stuff out. You guys even saw this past week, and Matt, you saw it for the first time, some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and you were able to see some of those leads and how the coaches can get in there and actually reach out to the colleges. So that's something that I kind of do behind the scenes. And Preston, you and I have done this for years, going back 24 years now, pushing this content out to the college coaches. So kids, parents, high school coaches, it costs you nothing. Send in your games. We cut it up. I've only cut up 20,000 highlights over the past 24 years. So send in your film. We get it cut up. We push these kids out on the podcast. We push these kids out on the social media platform. And believe it or not, we're reaching out to the college coaches. And they're calling us asking for kids. So that, these guys call in asking for a big cornerback. They're going to see the kid at Durant and the Plant City cornerback. I mean, that's the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes, and it costs nothing, and we're out here pushing the kids. So to answer the question, Preston, to be featured, get in your game film. Don't send me highlights. Get in game film. We get it broken down, and we get it broken down the right way. So that's what we'll do.
All right, with that, we're out.